All right, welcome to Ferris State University. My name is Chase Watson. I'm an admissions recruiter here at Ferris State. Joining us today is Sherry Chamberlain, also an admissions recruiter. We welcome you all to our presentation on Ferris State, and we hope that you enjoy. We'll go ahead and get started. Our mission here at Ferris State is threefold. There's three main things that we want our students to come away with. The first is that they have successful careers. What that means to us is that our students not only graduate with their degree, but also receive their career right after leaving us. Not necessarily a job that just pays the bills, but something that they truly enjoy doing. As my dad always said, growing up, if I enjoy what I do, I'll never work a day in my life. And that's absolutely 100% true. I love my career that I'm involved in. The second aspect that we wanted our students to come away with is we want them to be responsible citizens. So what that means is we look for them to give back to the community. We do a lot of volunteer service hours and community involvement with our students to really engage them and get them to see the bigger picture, that they are the change in the future, and that's what we strive for them to be. The third aspect is that they're going to be lifelong learners. So no matter what happens throughout their career, throughout their time with us, they're going to continue to have to learn. So it's very important that we instill that through their education in and out of the classroom. A little bit of history about us. This fine-looking gentleman here on the slide is our founder, Woodbridge N. Ferris. Founded Ferris State in 1894, 1894, in order to provide education for all. The idea was that no matter your race, your gender, he wanted everyone to be available to receive an education, and that's what we were founded on. As you can see in our first original 15 students that we had, there's quite a diverse group there. 5 out of the 15 were women, so back in 1895, that was pretty impressive to have that many women in a class graduating. So we're very much focused on that education for everyone. On our campus, there are not a lot of old buildings because of a massive fire that swept through in the 1950s and destroyed most of our buildings on campus. But from that point on, we've become an excellent educational institution, providing many different programs for our students to partake in, as well as many nationally recognized and some of the only programs in the country. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Sherry, and she's going to talk a little bit about our general information.
Ferris has grown over the years. We started out with the original 15, and now we have almost 15,000 students. Last fall we had 14,707. About 10,000 of those students attend here on our main campus in Big Rapids. The other about 4,700 attended our off-campus locations around the state of Michigan. The main campus of Big Rapids has about 900 acres, about 90 different buildings. We also have about 180 different degree programs for you to choose from, and we're going to touch on some of those here in just a little bit. We also pride ourselves on having faculty in the classroom. So as you're paying for those college classes, you know that you have the person with the experience and the education to teach your classes. Unlike other universities, we don't have any teacher assistants or grad assistants in our classrooms. Ferris also works really hard to keep our classroom sizes small. So right now we're averaging about 16 students to each professor. But that doesn't mean that every classroom has 16 students in it. There is a variety. So we've broken it down a little bit for you that in the classrooms, about 77% of the classes have less than 30 students. 90% of the classes have less than 40. 97% of the classes have less than 50. And because we're a very hands-on school where you do go into the labs and get some hands-on experience, we wanted you to know that 98.5% of our labs are smaller than 30 students.
So what is a Ferris State student made of? As you can see from this slide, our average freshman comes in with at least a 3.22 GPA and roughly a 22 on their ACT. Now that's our average. Our minimum requirement to get into Ferris is a 2.5 GPA and a 17. If you are above that, you will be accepted to the university. There's a little bit of flex room here. We do take as low as a 2.35 GPA as long as you do have that 17 on the ACT. And we'll take as low as a 15 on your ACT as long as you have the 2.5 GPA or higher. Diversity is a big part of what we do here. It was part of our founding and something we strive for continuously. We feel that it adds a lot of value to our educational system. So as you can see in this slide, 16.5% of our population is of a diverse nature, which is above the national average. So it's something we're extremely proud of here and something we continually strive for. This is a fun little map that shows where most of our students come from. As you can see, a vast majority of them do come from the Midwest. Part of the reason for that is we have a Great Lakes Scholarship, which allows any student from a state that touches one of the Great Lakes to come and pay in-state tuition. It's an excellent scholarship for our students from the surrounding areas. We also offer that scholarship in California and Florida and a few other states, and you can find all of that information on our financial aid webpage.
We're going to switch now over to our colleges. At Ferris, we have 8 different specialty colleges, and I'm going to have Chase start talking about the College of Health Professions.
So our College of Health Professions has 17 different programs within it. They range from radiography to sonography to molecular diagnostics and nuclear medicine. A lot of hands-on work within this the health-related field, so our students receive some of the best training in the state of Michigan. Some of the great things about this program are going to be the internships our students do. We help them set up all of their internships so that they don't have to go looking for them and that they're getting top-notch training while they're on the job. My favorite thing about this college, though, by far, is in this one picture with the students and the dummy laying on the bed. It's a $5,000 dummy that actually acts like a real person. So it's really cool to watch our students interact with that, administering drugs, drawing IV from it. It has a female counterpart that gives birth, so it's a pretty awesome experience for those students and allows them the hands-on ability to work with a patient and not a real living patient. So it's an exciting time for those students.
We also have the College of Arts and Sciences. They offer more health professions or health-related type programs with our pre-professional programs like pre-pharmacy, pre-optometry, maybe pre-medicine or pre-dentistry. Students can earn degrees in other science fields too, like the biotechnology, which is essentially cancer research, or maybe forensic biology. But as the title tells you, they also have an art side to their degree programs. Some of our social science programs are an accredited social work program, psychology, political science, sociology. This is the college at Ferris that no matter what degree program you're in, you will attend classes through this college, because all of our students have to have that good foundation of English and math and other courses to prepare them and so that they know about the world around them. And so this is the college that's going to offer you all those different areas through their 45 programs and their general education.
Our next stop is going to be our College of Business. As a graduate from our College of Business, there's so many great things that can take place here for you if you're a business student. One of the first things that drew me to our College of Business was that it was direct entry. So coming in as a freshman in the public relations program, marketing, advertising, professional golf management, you can start those classes right away. You're not going to have to do 1 to 2 years of general education and then apply to the College of Business. So if you're able to, this is an excellent college to go into. There are 20 different programs within this college with up to 80 different concentrations. So you really can develop your own business plan and business program through this college. A couple of really unique programs we have here at Ferris State under this banner are going to be our professional golf management and professional tennis management. Both of these programs are focused on those 2 individual sports, and students will come out not only as certified teaching professionals, but also with a marketing degree in business. So it gives them the opportunity to not only go and teach that sport, but also work within that industry for, say, Titleist or Penn, some of the larger suppliers of those sports equipment. Couple of technology degrees that we love to talk about here at Ferris as well within the College of Business are going to be Information Security and Intelligence, which is the #1 rated program in the entire country. It's focused on database security and database management, so our students learn how to backtrack hackers and protect valuable information on the internet. One of the fastest growing career opportunities in the entire United States right now as well. A couple other really unique programs are going to be our Music Industry Management program, very focused on the music industry, not only on the performing side and the audio and recording, but also on the business side, so the special event planning, concert planning, some really great things that our students get to be involved in there. Probably one of the best programs to internship with, as well as our students get to travel to Nashville and work for some really cool record labels down there, going to a lot of different concerts. So if you really enjoy the music industry, that's an excellent program to go into. And the last one I'll talk about is our graphic design program. Very unique in how it is set up. Being in the College of Business, it allows our students to not only get the design feature, but also get a background in business that really allows them to be successful out in the career field they've chosen. So they're getting kind of the design and business aspects, which make them very marketable when they do leave us.
We'll move on now to our College of Education and Human Services. This college offers you 27 different programs, most of those in the area of the School of Education, based on the different majors and minors that they're able to offer you in the secondary education. We're also able to grant you degrees in elementary education, and we have a bachelor's degree in early childhood. At Ferris, we're lucky because we do have Tots Place. It's a child care development center where our early childhood and elementary ed students that are working on their ZA endorsements can head to and see that in-class experience with the children. We also have probably the largest criminal justice program in the state of Michigan. Our criminal justice program has 3 different specialty tracks. The first track, which is law enforcement, allows our students, as you can see on the screen, to have the academy right here at the campus. They earn their bachelor's degree, plus they get that experience so that they're ready for that MCOL certification that they can easily become certified. We also have a corrections track or specialty that students can choose. There is also a generalist track for those that would like to go into maybe something at the federal level, maybe CIA or FBI, or maybe they have intentions of going to law school. So you get to choose, after a couple of years of doing some of the basic and introductory courses, you get to pick one of those 3 specialties. Also, as you can see on the screen, we do have television and digital media production, which is essentially everything behind the cameras. If a student wants to learn to be a director, a producer, work with maybe the lighting or the digital media equipment in a television studio, they're able to do that here at Ferris. We do have our own TV studio that does broadcast shows within Big Rapids periodically. Also, our students love it here because we're one of the few universities that does allow them to take the actual equipment with them on the weekends or after class, that they're able to use the cameras. We do trust our students with those thousands of dollars worth of equipment. So that's the best way to get that hands-on exposure to that degree program, that equipment. And last but not least, we do have an Army ROTC program. So if you're a student that maybe needs some financial assistance with your college, this might be an option for you, that you can take some military science classes. And then at the end, you can choose to maybe enter into the Army to get the full benefit of those scholarships.
Excellent. Next, we're going to talk about our engineering and technology program here at Ferris State. I'm going to leave this slide up just for a second because I love to talk about the Granger building here on campus. As you can kind of see if you look real closely at the picture, everything on the inside is exposed. So all the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, the water, the electric, everything is open. In essence, this is one giant lab space for our built environment students. They maintain the facilities on that building and making sure that it's working properly. Instructors will use that to show them how it would look behind the walls. So it's really a great learning tool for the students. Within our engineering technology program, we do have 37 different programs. All these programs are going to be very focused on the hands-on experience to start with. So we start a lot of our students in engineering technology in their associate's degree field first, where they're going to gather all of that hands-on experience. And then in their bachelor's degree program, they're going to develop more of the higher level engineering skills they're going to need as they progress. The great thing about this college is they do a lot of partnerships with industry leaders. So our students are working with some really top-notch technology, some things that may not even be out in the field yet, but are coming down the pipeline. So they're experienced with those when they actually do get into their industry. My favorite part about this college, though, is that their employment rate right now is at 98.5%, which is amazing for a college to have that across all 37 programs. There's some really unique fields to look into, like welding, automotive engineering, surveying, manufacturing. So some just really great technology programs that you can build a very solid career off of.
And probably one of our oldest programs here at Ferris is our pharmacy program through the College of Pharmacy. It started here in 1893. It was accredited back then. It was something that was started by Mr. Ferris almost as a favor to one of his friends. He was asked by someone to help his son study for getting his pharmacy certificate or license at that time. And Mr. Ferris found that there was a need maybe for pharmacy students to get some help to sit for those state boards or those state exams. And so in 1893, he started that program. Back then, I'm told it was about an 18-month long program. Students now have about 7 years tied into this program. The first 3 years are in pre-pharmacy, which we mentioned earlier is through our College of Arts and Sciences. The last 4 years would be into the doctorate program. The admissions into this program is very competitive. There are oftentimes around 500 or more applications for this program. They only accept, though, about 150 students each fall. And so students with the best of all areas, while they're taking their pre-pharmacy, you would want high grades in math and science and English in the different areas because they do look at all of those. There's also a pharmacy college admissions test that you take, or the people use the acronym PCAT. That test is kind of like the ACT on steroids. It's a lot of information from those first 3 years of pre-pharmacy that we learn what did you remember, what did you learn from it. And so the highest scores in all areas of your college experience in pre-pharmacy and the PCAT test help us determine which students we accept to the program. As you can see, we do have about 100% pass rate, that we work closely with our students. Our program is geared for students that want to go into a job of being a pharmacist, maybe like at your local Walgreens or Rite Aid or CVS. You could possibly go into like pharmaceutical research, but our program isn't geared as much toward that.
And next we'll talk about our College of Optometry, one of the other doctorate programs we do offer here at Ferris State. We are the only optometry school in the state of Michigan, as well as we're one of 20 in the entire United States. So if you are looking to become an optometrist and want to stay in the state of Michigan, Ferris State's going to be your option. It is a very highly competitive program. They do only take about 36 to 42 students every year. So once again, you're going to have to be excelling within the grades as well as the graduate level test that these optometry students take. So you're going to work with some really excellent technology here, as we've recently built a brand new optometry building for our students. It is now the nation's largest eye care clinic. So they get to work with a lot of state-of-the-art technology. One of our students actually has been working with Google and the Google Glasses, helping them to develop that technology and making sure that it is safe for the eyes. So a really great career opportunity here for students. It still takes 7 years to get through as well, 3 years in the pre-optometry program, 4 years at the doctorate level. The average starting salary for our optometry students, though, is roughly around $115,000. So there's quite a bit of money there to be made, but you got to make it through the 7 years of school first.
And last but not least of our 8 colleges is Kendall College of Art and Design. Kendall was a private art school that merged with Ferris back in 2001. It was probably the first fine arts school in Michigan. They offer about 17 different art disciplines in the area of art, design, art education, and art history. Some of the most popular ones are listed up there on the screen for you, but there are others. Because Kendall was originally in Grand Rapids and near museums and art galleries and different employment opportunities, they did decide to remain in Grand Rapids. And so because of that, there is a separate application process. Kendall does have their own admissions counselors and financial aid counselors that they'll help you right there through Kendall in Grand Rapids. And as you're looking over a lot of these different programs we've mentioned, sometimes students have a hard time making a decision on which one they would like to choose. And so we do have help for you at our Retention and Student Success Office, where they have educational and career counselors available to help you with those decisions. Or if you're coming in as a freshman and you still haven't decided, we do have a career exploration program. This is a temporary program, usually for the first semester that you're here at Ferris, that they'll have you work on general education courses that we know will fit into any major you might choose later. But you also take a 3-credit career exploration course that helps you to narrow down what you might like to do in the future. Sometimes you hear about friends or family where they've been going to school 6, 7, 8 years and finally earn their bachelor's degree. A lot of times that's because they switched their major along the way. Different majors have different requirements, and so that makes your degree take you longer because you're working on those new requirements. We're hoping with the educational and career counseling and career exploration that maybe you'll narrow that down ahead of time. And in the end, that saves you money because time is money. Also, if you run into trouble with classes while you're here at Ferris, maybe you have a subject area that you kind of struggle with, or maybe you just spend extra time on it trying to get those good grades. We want you to know that at Ferris we do have the Academic Support Center and Writing Center that are here for you to help you get those better grades. We also have Structured Learning Assistance, or we use the acronym SLA. Structured Learning Assistance almost works better than the tutoring because if you know ahead of time that you struggle with a subject area, we can get you set up as soon as you register for classes with SLA. It's extra review or study time that you study with a group of your classmates on your subject area that you struggle with, and it's set up ahead of time so it's in your class schedule. As long as you're doing well in your class, you don't have to go to the SLA sections. But if you fall below the grade that the professor sets for that class, maybe a B or a C grade, then you'll be required to head to the SLA sections, trying to raise that grade. And lastly, we have a Disability Services Office. If you have learning or physical disabilities that you would like some assistance with, our Disability Services Office works with you one-on-one. They try to keep it as confidential as possible. And so on our screen we do have the phone numbers, we have their email address, and also out on our website there is really good detailed information for you to learn more about that.
Alright, next we'll talk about our honors program. Our honors program here at Ferris does require that you meet at least two of the following three. So have a 3.5 GPA or a 25 on the ACT or top 10% of your class. Now that has changed a little bit over the years. We're not looking for exactly those three. If you meet one of the three, go ahead and feel free to apply. We like to look at well-rounded students, so it's not so much focused on the academic side as your community involvement, organizations you take part in. We want to see that you really are stepping outside of the classroom, not just focusing on your schoolwork as well. Some of the benefits of our honors program though, having your own room. That's a big concern for a lot of college students I know coming in. You're looking at it and you're like, oh, I don't really necessarily want to have a roommate, so this is always an option. Residence halls here at Ferris State are set up as suite style, so you would have one room to yourself and share the bathroom with one other person. Another benefit to our honors program is priority class registration, which let me tell you is probably the biggest benefit. As an incoming freshman in the honors program, I was able to pick all of my classes before any other freshmen came in. So I got to choose some of the later afternoon classes instead of having an 8 a.m. biology class, because I am not a morning person at all. There are some additional scholarships that roll into the honors program, mainly at offsetting the cost of that single room. And then we do see a lot of our honors program students are our leaders on campus. They're taking initiative and stepping up within their RSOs and student organizations. They're also highly involved on campus. We do require that all honors students participate in at least 20 hours of community service within a semester, which really isn't too hard considering semesters are about 16 weeks long. So you're looking at maybe in 2 hours every week, and you'll be well over that. You also will have to participate in at least 3 cultural enrichment events, which those range from diversity programming that takes place, concerts, guest speakers. So really things that you're going to do anyways. We just want to make sure that you're getting out and involved on campus and staying active and bettering yourself as a student.
And also while you're on campus, we want to make sure that you and our staff are as safe as possible. Ferris does have police officers on our campus, and they work to keep everything well lit. They provide us with security hotline phones that have, when you see them on campus, they have little blue lights, and they're like a 911 call that rings right into the police department. So if you wipe out on your bike or something happens where you need immediate assistance, you can pick up one of those and they'll know exactly where you're located. We also keep our campus well lit. We have the evening protection services for you, which for lack of a better name, it's when the police come to maybe the library or to a computer lab that you've maybe stayed later than you had planned to. If you ever feel uncomfortable heading back to your car or back to your room, you could call upon them that they would then escort you back to your car or to your room. In our residence halls, we want to keep those locked down 24/7 just for your safety. And so you have an electronic key access only to the residence hall that you live in or that you would be heading to. And so those keep you safer, because then strangers that are just passing through the area wouldn't be able to head in. Also, other students that live in other halls aren't able to just walk through, and that helps to keep the residence halls quieter for the students. You also have the chance to opt in for text alerts from Ferris if you want to know if there's going to be storm warnings or snow days or things like that that you would want to just be alerted about before you head out. It's nice to know if classes or school is canceled ahead of time before you start walking in or driving in for your classes. And probably everybody's favorite thing is parking on campus. Even as a freshman here at Ferris, you are allowed to have a car on campus. It's right now running $100 per year for you to have permission to park in one parking lot. A lot of times those are very close to your halls and where you're going to be going to school, or where you're taking your classes. With the cars, you don't really use those every day to go from class to class, but it's nice to have it there if you have a job or an activity after school that you need to head to.
All right, as I've mentioned already, diversity is a big initiative here at Ferris State and something we strive for. So we've got several offices on campus that help us with that initiative. The first is our Office of Multicultural Student Services. They're available to all of our students here on campus as a resource center. So they've got some great study habits. They host a lot of our cultural event programming on campus to get students involved in thinking about how diversity affects their day-to-day life and how we can better the world through that. Then we have our recently opened Center for Latino Studies. So they focus on helping any student that is interested in speaking Spanish or going to a Spanish-speaking country. Just a great resource center for anyone from that background as well if they're a first-time college student. So just an excellent office to stop into if you have any questions about that. I love to go in there because they offer their Beginner 101 Spanish course for free, so you can stop in and slowly pick up how to speak Spanish. Kind of my favorite thing to do. And then we also have our nationally recognized Jim Crow Museum here on campus, which is a collection of racial memorabilia. It really is an eye-opening experience to walk through this museum and see how everyday items can have a racial connotation behind them. And so we encourage all of our students to walk through, and anyone that's visiting our campus to take advantage of it. It is absolutely free to go through, and it's in the bottom of our library.
Another service available to you as a student at Ferris is our Career Services Office. This is the staff that invites employers to come to campus for job fairs and for on-campus recruiting. Job fairs, we usually have two large ones each year, one in the fall and one in the spring. This past spring, we had over 200 employers come for the job fair of 2014. Prior to the job fairs, our staff is there to help you out with your resume writing or critiquing your resume. They're also available to set up mock interviews with some of the staff from your specialty department so that you can practice ahead of time. They also give you a lot of good tips that you can take into your interview ahead of time. I know that when I went in as a student, one of the things they taught me about, I like to talk with my hands, and over the years I've had to learn not to do that quite as much. Sometimes you can be nervous and knock over things like coffee cups or things on desks, and so they helped me with that to calm down my hands a little bit for the interview. But there might be other tips too that they could give you. The on-campus recruiting is a wonderful perk here on campus because that brings the employers here for that first interview while you're in school and maybe have a job. Sometimes it's hard to head out to those interviews at companies around the nation, and so that first interview would be here on campus. Then if they invite you to a second interview, you may have to head to the company or institution that you're being employed by, but that on-campus recruiting gets you started.
All right, now we're going to move down to the brass tacks of everything here, the cost of what it's going to take to get to your college degree. So here at Ferris State, you can see on this slide, our per credit hour cost is going to be around $365. So this is based off of a 14 credit hour semester. The average student's going to take a 12 or 15 credit hour semester because that's how it works out when we're scheduling classes. So you're going to see that number fluctuate, probably either a little bit higher or a little bit lower depending on your course load. Room and board rate is set at $8,910. That's at our base rate package. And with that package, dining is included, your room is included, cable, internet, all of that. So you're not going to need a lot of outside money once you pay that initial room and board fee. So that brings your total to $19,130. We've built in some estimated costs there for your books and supplies, $1,000 for books. We can see this number change as if you're wise about shopping for your books, you can go out and save some money that way. If you just want them right away, you'll pay a little bit more to get them right in hand. And then our personal miscellaneous and travel expenses. A good way to save on this cost is, we encourage students to stay here. You're paying for your room and board over the weekend, so why not stay and enjoy all the different sporting events, concerts, guest speakers we have taking place? Because with gas climbing $4 or $5 a gallon, you're going to have a hard time paying that bill back and forth from home to here. So always good to kind of monitor that budget as well. The next three costs on this chart are all refundable fees here at Ferris State. So our Racket Center facility is an amazing facility on our south end of campus. It has 4 indoor tennis courts, 12 outdoor courts, 2 clay courts. So if you enjoy tennis or racquetball, it's an excellent facility to use, and very inexpensive if you look at the $26 that it costs. But if you don't play any of those sports, you can refund that $26, and that's your money to keep. The student activity fee of $42 is there to help us bring everything we do. So all the guest speakers, concerts, that is built in with that $42. So if you refund that, you're going to have to pay out of pocket, and that's going to cost you quite a bit more than the $42. So we do not recommend refunding that student activity fee. The health center fee of $94 is just to keep our health center here on campus open and available to our students. It is centrally located, has nurses and doctors, so if you do become sick on our campus, you can stop into the health center and they will take care of you. If you're not wanting to use the health center or just would like to have that $94 back, you can refund that. The hospital is only 2 blocks away from our campus, so still very close. So it brings our grand total to $22,176. Like I said, that will fluctuate depending on your credit hours and your budgeted expenses. What you need to look at that amount though, because we all know that after 4 years, you're talking it's about $90,000. You need to realize that this is an investment though in your future. You have absolutely 100% control over this investment because it's invested in you, so it's your future. The average college student makes about $2 to $3 million more in their lifetime than a high school graduate, and I don't like to think that any Ferris State student is average, so I say you can bump that up by at least $1 million more. So you're invested in about $90,000 for a $4 million return. That's pretty good. You're not going to get that anywhere else in the stock market right now. So that's how you need to look at this. On that note though, you're not going to pay all of that on your own. There's several steps that are going to help with that.
Right, like Chase said, most of us don't have that money sitting in our checking account that we can just write out a check for $22,000 for that first year. And so you do want to take advantage of any way that you can get some free money. One of the first ways that you can try is by filling out the free application for federal student aid, or it's also called the FAFSA. This is a federal government form that becomes available in January of every year. And we do encourage you to apply, even with estimated numbers, if you have to, as early as possible in January, so that your information gets submitted into the federal government as quickly as possible. There are a lot of different processes and checks that they do with that, so it's good to get it started early, because you're hoping that if they tell Ferris that you are eligible for some free aid, we have usually about $100 million that we award to students annually. You want to make sure that you get your piece of the pie of that funding. Another way that you could also get aid would be through
our W&F scholarships. So these are our Woodbridge and Ferris scholarships. And the great thing about these scholarships starting off is that they're automatic. So when you apply to Ferris State, we're going to take a look at your GPA and ACT. If it meets the requirement, that scholarship is going to be yours. So if you have a 3.5 and a 26 on your ACT, you're looking at $4,000 for up to 4 years, as long as you can maintain our 3.25 GPA in college. It's a pretty good deal. With that, I will say that my own personal story here, I was a 3.9 student in high school, and so I took the ACT the first time and got a 27, thought that that was good enough. My dad had done some research and realized that students should probably take the ACT more than once, and so I took it again, got the exact same score. At that point, I was like, I'm not wasting another one of my Saturdays. However, I listened to my father, and he had me take it one more time, and my score jumped 4 points. So I then became a 3.9 and a 31. And so I had a full tuition scholarship to Ferris State, one of the reasons I chose our fine university. But that's the power of these scholarships. You can affect change on these. So when you start applying at the beginning of your senior year, it's very easy to look at this and go, oh, this is just what I'm going to get. But if your GPA is up there, retake the ACT. You never know what your score is going to be. They're changing all the time, and there's no deadline with these. So you can take the very last ACT test date, and that'll make a change. The same thing goes with your GPA. If you're sitting at a lower level, but you know that if you work really hard, you can bring it up to that next level, do it. It's free money to you, and that scholarship is available. So definitely take advantage of these scholarships if you can. Another set of scholarships we have, and I'll leave this for Sherry to talk about, are transfer scholarships.
With the transfer scholarships, that would be for any college student. If you started at a different college and you're transferring into Ferris, these two scholarships require that you must complete at least a minimum of 24 credit hours, that you earn the GPA listed of either a 3.3 or a 3.7. These two are automatic scholarships that if you apply to Ferris ahead of time, if the money is available through the scholarship fund, which it typically is right up until classes begin each fall, then you would be awarded one of these scholarships, whichever one is worth the most money to you. The first one listed there, the Transfer Academic Achievement with a 3.3, is worth $3,000 the first year. It is renewable again a second year as long as at Ferris you maintain a 3.3 GPA. The one above it, the Transfer Excellence, you would have a renewal GPA of a 3.5 or higher while you're here at Ferris. These scholarships kind of assume that the community college student has already taken approximately 2 years at the other school, and so with these scholarships they are renewable for a 2-year time period, or are good for 2 years. Just like the freshman scholarships coming in, the WNF scholarships, these are available to you just by applying to Ferris. For a college transfer student, we would recommend that you do apply approximately a year ahead of time so that you can lock in these scholarships and work on other items that need to be done too.
One last thing with scholarships is we've done a transition this year with our financial aid page, and all incoming students, once they receive their student ID and have been accepted to the university and can log into their MyFSU page, now have a link on there for their scholarships. And what this does is it allows these students to look at all the outside scholarships that are available for them as well. So we track every scholarship that a student has received from an outside source and has come to Ferris State that we know about. And so we keep those on file so that other students can apply for those scholarships. So the ones we've talked about are just the automatic ones that as a university we offer right out the door. But there are many other scholarships available, so please feel free to check out our financial aid and scholarship page, and you'll find all the links there as well. The third way we're going to kind of help pay for your education here is through giving you a job. So student employment is a big part of that. You can make extra money here on campus. The great thing about working on campus is that you're going to be tied to the university a little bit more. And we see that that has a real big positive impact on our students as far as their academics go. As well as most students who work on campus do make higher than minimum wage. Being a state-run university where we don't have to charge certain taxes, and so you're going to make a little bit more than you would if you worked off campus. Another great aspect, and probably the most important, is we realize you're a student first. Right? So when it comes to going to class, if you need more time to study or you're preparing for exams, we're going to be very flexible in your scheduling because we want you to do well in your classes. That is the primary reason you're here, and we realize that. You're not just our workforce, you're a bulldog and you're one of our students, and it's very important that you succeed in the classroom. We do employ over 2,000 students on our campus, and most of the jobs for the upcoming school year will be available to look at August 1st. So when you are accepted and have the opportunity to get into your MyFSU account, you'll be able to see all of those listings and start applying for jobs even before you come to campus. So I highly recommend that.
And you might even want to work as either a front desk person or manager or an RA maybe in our housing, in our residence halls. Students that start at Ferris do have the opportunity to live in a residence hall on campus. Residence halls are co-ed by suite, and so what that means is there's a room here, I'll use my hands, and another room here with a connecting bathroom in the middle. This whole suite would be students either all females or all males. Next door to you, the next suite over, could be people of the opposite sex, but it's just done kind of randomly. While you're living in the residence halls, you do have a variety of amenities. You have cable TV hookup, you have high-speed Ethernet, internet service, you have wireless service. There are laundry facilities for you. When you pay for room and board, you do get dining plans, which Chase is going to cover here in just a little bit. By the time you turn 19, then you have other opportunities that we do have the East Campus Suites. Those are a combination of residence halls and apartments. It's kind of that setup where there are 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and then a common living area in the middle that the 4 students share. Or maybe you'll opt for one of our apartments. We do have 1 and 2 bedroom East Campus apartments, and our West Campus apartments are actually townhouses that do have basements and upstairs. They're a little bit larger for students that want that extra space.
Another unique employment opportunity, as Sherry mentioned with housing, is to be an RA, and that's a resident assistant. And that's a great opportunity. I did that my sophomore year and loved it. It's a lot of responsibility, but it gives you the opportunity to do some programming on campus, kind of set up different events for your students, and really get them interacting. As well as there's a great scholarship that covers your room and board. You receive a $250 stipend per month, so it's an excellent way to save some money as well if you're willing to take on that responsibility.
And I would encourage you, like Chase did, and I also lived on campus. It's really important to live on campus just so you have easy access to the events and to meet up with other students for study groups and different activities. And so even though sometimes students when they're age 19 or over choose to head off of campus, really being on campus is more convenient and a lot more fun.
Exactly. All right, so on to the best part of today's presentation, the dining. Talking about food is always my favorite part of any day. And so dining here at Ferris is very simple. As I mentioned with our room and board rate at the silver plan, that includes pretty much everything you're going to need. So at that silver rate plan, you're allowed unlimited dining at our 2 dining facilities we have on campus. The premier dining event facility right now is the Rock Cafe, which is on the south end of our campus and where most of our residence halls are located as well. So that's where the vast majority of our students do eat. It has 15 different stations, its own Mongolian barbecue, it's got a dessert station, which is my favorite place to hang out. And so there's just a lot of really great food. We've never heard any complaints about our food or the variety that's available. So you really can find pretty much anything you're looking for while dining on our campus. There are 2 additional dining plans that we do offer. The Gold plan, which includes $75, and the Platinum plan, which includes $150. And that money can be spent on campus at any of the on-campus stores that we do have available. So we have a Starbucks, a Seattle's Best. We have a Marketplace that has chips and pop and Powerade, all of that stuff available for students. And so that works just like a debit card where that money gets pulled off of your account. Now there's one catch to that money. If you don't use it before the end of the semester, you lose it. So I do recommend that students watch that as they go throughout the semester and make sure that they're using that money before they use any other money. We'd hate for you to miss out on $50 and have it disappear. So definitely take advantage of that if you do have that attached to your meal plan.
One of the other fun things about living on campus and being part of a student body is that you get to head to some of the sporting events that we have. Ferris has 15 different university teams. Our only Division I team is our men's ice hockey, which they do very well. They compete in the Western Collegiate Hockey Association, and this past year they were the champions for the regular season of the WCHA. Later moved on and worked into the Elite 8 for the NCAA. Our other sports are NCAA Division II, where they're doing very well also. You'll want to look at some of the news reports about some of our track and field ladies that have been in the news lately. Our volleyball team was the Midwest Regional Champions this past year. Football did very well. But if you're looking to play one of these sports, where you'll want to head to is first to the NCAA Clearinghouse and get yourself registered there. You'll also want to head out to Ferris's website to the athletics section. They have a page just for recruits where you can let our coaches know that you're interested in some of these sports. I'm a big hockey fan here. I don't know, do you have a favorite sport while you were here at Ferris?
I would say hockey is probably the #1 sport. that I would attend.
I head there regularly. I get season tickets. As you can tell, I was a spectator. I didn't pay for or play on any university sports, but I did take part in some of the intramurals that they had. Back in my day, they had like broom hockey. I know nowadays they have broom ball, kind of like 5-on-5 basketball and some events like that, kickball tournaments. Or if you want to play for the university at kind of a semi-competitive level, you could maybe be a part of some of our club sports. There's baseball, lacrosse, rugby, to name a few, some outdoor clubs, adventure clubs. And so you can get involved into those. And that's really one of the easiest ways to make some new friends as you're heading away from high school and heading to the university. You can meet up with some of these other students that have the same hobby or sport that you do, and that's a way that you can hit it off right away and make some new friends.
And we have a very athletic and active campus. 86% of our students do participate in intramural activities, and that includes a lot of the faculty as well. Myself included, I play flag football, softball, so really we all get involved. It's a great way to build that community and enjoy everything that we have here.
And our athletes are very in tune with their academic progress too. I know that 84 of our students this year made like All-American as far as getting good grades, earning a 3.0 or higher. And so academics is very important to these different teams that we have listed here too.
All right, now we're going to move on to our registered student organizations. We do have roughly over 220 different registered student organizations. They range from social organizations, Greek life, professional, faith-based organizations. So there's a lot for our students to be involved in. And this is one of the areas I really recommend incoming students to look at. You can go out and see all of our registered student organizations, pick some that you're really interested in, and go try them out. There's no charge for any of these. They're all open and free and based on your interests. We've got, like I said, Greek life, so there's fraternities and sororities. We have a CrossFit group. We have Crafters Anonymous. There's just a wide range of different things for our students to be involved in. So I highly recommend that. I also recommend students really getting involved in their professional organization. So whether you're a radiography student or you're pre-farm or you're a business student in the advertising group, get involved in those professional organizations. There's some great leadership opportunities to be had there. Some really good networking opportunities as many of our alumni come back and stay connected to their professional organization. So there's great ways to get your name out into that industry even before you leave our campus. And then we do a lot of campus events throughout the year as well. The first being Welcome Week, which is a week-long celebration welcoming all of our students back in our new incoming freshman class. So that's really fun. We throw a giant picnic on our quad, and students come out and they participate in some jousting, some human bowling, those type of fun events that really get kind of fun to watch. And then we do host 2 major concerts every year, Autumn Alive and Ferris Fest, and these are free for our students to attend. We've had some really big name artists like 3-6 Mafia, Travis Porter, All Time Low. We had Carmen this last year for Ferris Fest, so a lot of really entertaining artists will come and perform for our students, giving them a really good show. The event that I love to talk about the most, though, is our big event. And this really ties back to that responsible citizenship I talked about earlier. We have a Saturday in April where all of our students volunteer to go out and do yard work, painting, any type of project that needs to be done throughout the community of Big Rapids. So it's our way for our students to give back to the community that houses them throughout the year. Really awesome experience to stand out on the football field as all the students gather. They get their rakes and the bags and they go out and they do all this good work for the community. So that's one of the things I think really draws upon what our student population does really well here. Anything to add, Sherry?
No, just to get involved in all of it. All of it is fun, and most of it is free to you, and so it's another good way to meet up with other friends that like to do similar things that you like to do. If you're heading to concerts, you might find people that like the same type of music you like, and so it's just an awesome way to meet some new people. Also, another opportunity at Ferris is studying abroad. Have you ever wanted to head to some foreign country that you've never seen before? There are many to choose from. Ferris usually has about 80 different programs each year. They travel to about 40 different countries. And this is a chance for you to earn some college credit toward your degree program, but also see these fabulous countries. There's all different programs. We usually give you a presentation a couple of times a year where the professors let you know how long the program will be for. Could be anywhere from 2 weeks to maybe even a semester long. They'll tell you how it works as far as with your program. They'll have advisors available to make sure that you don't fall behind, that you stay on track with your degree program. We'll also have financial aid staff there letting you know if your financial aid that you typically receive will help you pay for these programs. If you're not quite ready to maybe travel or venture to an international country, you could also consider the National Student Exchange. There are a lot of universities around the United States that will exchange students so that you could go and take classes in some other state. I always think of some of the warmer states being from Michigan, or maybe you want to head to Hawaii or Florida or California or someplace like that, but it truly could be anywhere that you'd be interested in. And this is probably one of the things that I'm most disappointed about. It wasn't something when I attended here way back in the day as a Ferris student that they didn't heavily promote this. And so this is something that I wish would have been more available to me. I think students should take advantage of this.
Yes, I agree. If you have the opportunity to take part in a study abroad program, do it. That's my one biggest regret as well from college, is not taking part in a study abroad program. If you can financially make it work, it is an amazing opportunity and looks really great on a resume that you have this experience in a different country and that you are willing to broaden your horizons. One thing I'd like to point out is that a lot of our health professions programs as well do a study abroad program where they not only go and study, but they're also doing some community service work as they're there. We've had our pharmacy students travel to Guatemala to do administer drugs and things down there. Our dental hygiene students have gone to Costa Rica to do free dental exams. Our optometry students have gone to Africa. So it's some really good opportunities to not only sharpen your skills, but also to see the world while you're doing it. I'm going to highly recommend that. So that's going to wrap up our presentation today. A couple of reminders: our application is always free and it's online. Just visit ferris.edu. You can also stay abreast of everything taking place through our admissions office by going to our Facebook page, so facebook.com/Ferris State Admissions. And we'd just like to thank you for joining us today, and if you have any questions, please feel free to get a hold of us.
We hope we'll see you visiting campus soon.
Bye.